Hi, everyone. Here we are again in the Danube Competence Center. And my name is Gordana Plamenac, and I will be your host today. I'm happy and privileged to introduce my guests today participating in this podcast called Danube Bridges. We do have Almut Sedlmeier in Ulm, Germany. Then we have Danko Ćosić of Danube Competence Center here in Belgrade. And we have Georgi Jordanov in Sofia, Bulgaria. Before we start our conversation, I would like to have all of my guests today to introduce themselves briefly, please. And after running through that, we will start our conversation. So, Almut, please say something about
Okay,
yourself and your work.
yeah. Hi and welcome from my side. I work in the Danube office Ulm since 2019. I work in the project management, and our thematic vocal points are sustainability in general, sustainability, mobility, and environmental education, youth, and the Danube office we see the Danube office as a municipal motor of cooperation in the Danube region, and we have three core um, field of activity, which are our projects, our network along the Danube, and our events where I want to say or let you know the International Danube Festival we will celebrate next year, which is a festival of encounters, and we all invite you already now to this festival. So, hello from my side.
Thank you. And without further ado, Danko, please.
Um, Good day. My name is Danko Ćosić. I work at the Danube Competence Center as a director of programs. That includes a number of different initiatives trying to work along the Danube with different actors and with different people, trying to bring the Danube closer first to each other and then closer to the traveling audience. But I'm also a manager of the Roman Emperors and Danube Wine Route, which is designed as a platform for cooperation between different actors from heritage, tourism, and public institutions, and of course the local communities working together on collaborative development and promotion of this interesting itinerary that we will be talking a bit more later.
And now, further downstream Danube, we have Georgi, who would also introduce himself.
Thank you. My name is Georgi Jordanov. I have a strong legal professional background, but I'm also active in the tourism sector more than 15 years already. I'm among the co-founders of National Tourism Cluster Bulgarian Guide. This NGO, non-government organization, focused on the needs of the seeking tourist. We implement innovative initiatives in the tourism, and we are trying to promote the sustainable development of tourism in less known tourism and travel destinations, especially along the Danube. I participated in numerous of projects related to the sustainable development of the cultural and natural heritage. Our focus on the Danube River and this region arises from the needs of the local communities, and we see the tourism, the development of the sustainable tourism, as a strong social economical factor for their development.
Thank you very much. So, our today's topic is Destination Danube. And I'm indeed pleased to have all three of you from different geographical spots on the Danube. So Almut is representing Upper Danube, Danko is representing midstream Danube, and Georgi is representing lower stream Danube. But all of us here are united in representing the Danube. And somebody may ask, why are we so attached to this river? Or maybe be curious why Danube is so special. And it is indeed special. It is timeless. It connects 10 countries, and 4 are linked to the Danube by tributaries. But anyhow, what is this? What is your inspiration? What is your fascination? And this is what I'm going to ask all of my guests in future episodes. It is important to hear so-called vox populi, to see what and hear why people are so impressed, inspired, and fascinated by Danube. So what is your inspiration? Is it culture heritage? Is it natural heritage? Is it contemporary art? Is it activity tourism? Is it what is this? Who's gonna be the first? Are we going to start from Almut, ladies first, and then we will continue?
Okay, I would say, or my answer would be it's the variety, because the Danube has a huge variety of cultures, but different things. So, yeah, I think it's the variety along the Danube which fascinates me. And also, I have a personal connection. I was born and raised in Günzburg, which is a small town near the Danube. So I knew the Danube since my childhood, and it's kind of, yeah, I'm kind of used to it, to live near the river and to go near the riverside. And yeah, I think the special thing is always the people who live along the Danube. And yeah, I want to get to know these people and how they live along the Danube. And that's for me the inspiration to work with the Danube, on the Danube, near the Danube.
Thank you. What about you, Danko?
I don't know whether this would be a right answer or not, but
I wouldn't mind,
I mean,
knowing you.
all my professional life, which is now almost 30 years, is somehow connected with traveling. And I do travel for my own pleasure with my family. And several years ago, for some sort of, let's say, a traveling experiment, I've with a few colleagues of mine, we travel along the Danube from the spring to Delta, using only public transportation and, let's say, carbon-free traveling with bikes, with kayaks, and something else. And I can tell you that retrospectively, this was one of the greatest adventures of all my traveling experience, for different reasons. From, as you said, I mean, really breathtaking nature, which Danube is really offering from the very start, when it's a small and slow, up to the delta when it's large and massive and powerful. From the how I say, being tired along the Danube traveling, from all these different languages, different food, different experiences, even sometimes bizarre, in the best possible meaning of this word. So it's hardly to say it's an inspiration. I would say it was a great experience. It was a great adventure, and something that I'm coming back very often when I work with different people, and I think this is something that really kind of gave me a good sense or good idea of all what Almut was saying, what you were saying, what Danube is really about.
Yes, I agree with you. You forgot the wines and brandies.
Being drunk was part of this experience.
Okay, okay. So, Georgi, what can you tell us? I will always speaking of following up on what Almut and Danko said from the little stream in the Black Forest in Schwarzwald. I will always remember sitting on the deck of the boat in Vidin, where Danube is so huge and powerful, flowing towards the Danube Delta. And these dramatic differences on the Danube are indeed something that we should really bring closer to the audience at the larger scale, because people are, I think, not exactly aware what is the Danube. We who are from the Danube region know about that, but not only all of us, and that's also something where we can work together. But we should really try to paint this picture and deliver it to the world. Okay, Georgi, I'm sorry for taking a few minutes to talk about this, because I'm really in love with the Danube. So please.
Thank you for sharing these thoughts. They are just in the direction I would go. Uh, Others, as Almut and Danko, I'm not born near and raised near the Danube. On contrary, I'm a city guy, born and raised in Sofia, the capital city, which is far away from the Danube. But I have also my personal story with the Danube. You mentioned Vidin. My grandparents used to live in Vidin, and they had a small villa in a village close to the Danube, on a tributary of Danube, the river of Archar. And my grandfather was fisherman. So in the summer holidays, I was visiting them, and I was going with him to the Danube, and we were fishing together. And as a child, I experienced this freedom and this spirit of the big river flowing close to me, something which was quite different from what I used to see and experience in Sofia. So for me, Danube was a kind of symbol of freedom, adventurous, uh, uh, maybe a sign of the unknown, because I was also cycling around the hills, and this was in the communist time, where Danube was seen merely as a border. And I didn't travel abroad, and I just saw across the river, and I saw the plains of Romania, and I thought, oh, this is a different country, different people, different culture, different language. It's amazing, but yes, maybe sometime I will travel there, and I will let these people know. And so, as you see, this very personal experience in the childhood just impact my appreciation of Daniel, and is still alive.
This is quite interesting, because speaking about Danube as the border between at that time, the two worlds, brings me to the point where we can talk about European culture roots. And as Danko mentioned earlier, Danube Competence Center is the management authority for Roman emperors route and the Danube wine route. But let me just point out that under the auspices of the Council of Europe, there are 48 culture routes, and all these routes are certified by the Council of Europe, and they are coordinated by the Institute for Culture Routes in Luxembourg. One of these routes is the Iron Curtain Trail, and that is the route coming all the way from Norway, from Kirkenes down to Greece. And this Iron Curtain Trail is not only European Cycling Corridor number 13, it is also a culture route. And this is exactly the model connecting sustainable tourism product with cultural and natural heritage. So I would give the floor to Danko at this point to tell us more about the work for our culture route, which exists since when, Danko? 2013? 15. Okay, we started the activities in 2013.
It was certified 2015. So now this year we celebrate.
Please tell us more about that, and then I will switch to something related to that, please.
So yeah, we are now celebrating the 10th anniversary of our network. We started as 4 countries, and now it's 11 countries. Because yes, Danube is floating through 10 countries, but the Danube basin is a bit larger. It goes with 14 countries. But let me go slightly back to the same experience of great adventure that I had several years ago. With all this kind of good things that was part of this experience, we also witnessed some of the downsides of the traveling. And you and Georgi, before you, spotted one very important thing, because Danube was, but unfortunately still is, the border in many countries. And what does it mean for a traveler? It means that the bus lines stopped at the Danube. They do not go over the Danube. And the people sometimes live next to each other but far from each other. However, they are physically close for various reasons, not to go there. And if we look into the, let's say, the changing patterns of traveling, and I'm not going to talk about the numbers and this stuff, but more and more people are traveling individually. And more and more people are because of this global unfortunate developments, are trying to stay within the region. So when you put those two things together, what you get a great call, a great inspiration, but very often a lot of troubles in executing this on the ground. So this is one of the reasons why we are developed the Roman Emperors in the wine route, which is primarily a platform for cooperation between various actors, as I said earlier, from different aspects of what really cultural tourism is. Because just another small digression, and I'm sorry if I'm taking too much time, but I think this is very, very important for me, because the question of when the cultural heritage is executed is when the archaeologist, for example, because we work with the archaeological site, is understand it, or when a visitor understands it. So between answering those two questions, there is a huge gap that we are trying to fulfill. because the understanding of the archaeology is not the same as the understanding of ordinary people. Because when you come to the archaeological site, for example, and we are connecting, if I'm not mistaken, 23 different archaeological sites from the 3rd to 5th century along the Danube. I see ruins, I see basements, I see things that do not tell me the story. So if there is no story behind that it's translated into the let's say the language of the ordinary people, how we will appreciate it, how we will understand it, how we would like to come back again or continue this traveling. So this is somewhere where we are trying to work in bringing the academic community together with a tourism community, but also, and probably most importantly, with the local communities. Because the Danube communities, and this is, I think, something that is also important to be observed, in their own countries are, with no disrespect, but of the secondary tourism value of, those are not the hotspots in those countries. So those are not the places which have a huge or high tourism flow. And this is not without the reason. And this is, and of course I don't want to take time from my colleagues, so I will stop here. But this is, let's say, the general perspective that we have in mind when we work on the Danube, on the Roman Empress and Danube wine route. And I was taking more perspective of the archaeology, not as much of the wine and the gastronomy, which are also strong elements of our route. But there will be time to
Yes.
talk about that.
Almut, do you have your opinion? And I'm sure you have, and you should share it, please, with us.
About what?
About
Sorry.
culture routes. Culture routes cross the Danube. So is it considered as an important part of tourism offer? How can we promote it? How can we build up on some tourism products within the culture route? Do we have the opportunity to do such a thing? How can we capitalize on this culture routes as the important asset for future promotion, larger promotion of the Danube?
Okay, so Danko said that the route is also a platform for cooperation, and I think that's the most important thing, or that's very important, so that the stakeholders, the guides, whatever, tourists work together and use this platform as a cooperation. So for our Danube guides, it's also interesting to cooperate with the cultural roots, of course. And we also have partners or had partners in other projects from this roots, and we are open to cooperate here. So I think it's very interesting and important.
Thank you. But do you think that we could do more in the sense of education? How can we enhance this cooperation? Could we do more educational seminars? Could we do something for very young children and start some kind of an exchange program so that children along the Danube, first of all or foremost, learn about their immediate environment? Based on that, we can step forward and maybe involve other children in these programs. Do you know if we do have, for instance, children camps along the Danube? But also, do we have Me, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Do we have some kind of international children's camps or youngsters camps? Do we have that? Can we,
So for
if we don't have it, can we introduce something like this? Can we work on building up something like that?
what we have, for example, at the International Danube Festival, we always have the International Youth Camp where young people from the whole Danube region meet, have workshops together, sing together, play together, learn together. And this is one great example. Yeah, we developed during the International Danube Festival every 2 years. So I know about this youth camp, and I know about in Green Osijek, one of our project partners has an
Mm.
eco center where school classes can go and have nice tours. For example, a treasure hunt where they can go on canoe on the river and have some experience in kind of a game. So that's very interesting for them. And yeah, they learn more about the Danube and the species along the Danube, for example, in this eco center. And there are a lot more institutions who offer things like this, camps, but also kind of workshops, classes for younger people in different age groups. And yeah, what we also have is the initiative of the Danube Guides. So we developed a training program for nature and culture guides. And we have guides now in 7 countries along the Danube, and they offer educational tours and touristic tours. So it's very individual from country to country. And if you are interested, if you are a visitor of the Danube and you go in one of these countries, you can contact one of our Danube guides and have a special tour, very individual, than in this spot, for example. So there are a lot of offers, but I think it's very interesting with this cultural roots or with this networks and platforms that the people in one region work together. For example, then you not only have a guided tour, but also you can have a small tasting in a winery or in a restaurant, and then you have a night over in a small hotel. So that there is a combination of these offers in one spot, and that the people there in this field work together. I think there we could improve, so that you really get a whole impression of the Danube, and then it's not only a trip but also an experience. And then what you take from this is like a feeling and the spirit of the Danube, and not only a visit. And I think there, or this is very special or very interesting in tourism, to go more in this direction of not, let's say, not competition but cooperation, and working together for one region along the Danube.
Great, thank you. This is what I wanted to hear because, sorry for my ignorance. I was, with exception of Festival, I didn't know much about that. But I think that still there is space where we can expand our activities. What about you, Georgi? What's going on in the lower Danube? Can you share this with us?
So I agree with you that the education is the foundation of the tourism development, along with the infrastructure and also cultural and natural heritage we already spoke about. Um, uh, I can give some examples about the educational initiatives initiated and led by our organization. Unfortunately, the first one is not related to the Danube River, but is still awarded as a good practice, best practice from the European Commission. This is a cross-border project called Trans-EduNet. Trans because it is transnational, edu because it is educational, and net because it is a network. So we gathered and we educated more than 500 young people, students, and
Right.
higher educated and in higher education. And we developed cross-border online platforms for education in the field of tourism. And even years after the project end, we see that there are a lot of people enrolling in this platform and making the exams, issuing certificates, and so on. So this is one base which can be used also for the Danube region and can be implemented and extended. So therefore, we are looking for synergies. When we work in the field of education and tourism, we are always speaking about synergies, not only with our transnational partners, but also across sectors. This is also the main goal of a cluster organization as ours, because we are looking for cooperation, collaboration, and synergies between all stakeholders involved. Another good example, this is still in the beginning, but it's linked to the Danube River. This is a new project we are part of, namely Placecraft. So Placecraft is focusing on residential programs in the villages along the Danube. So the goal is to empower the local communities and allow young artisans and craftsmen to visit these communities, to live there, to work there, and to craft there, to develop um, either products or cultural products together with the hosting communities. So that's why I think there are a number of initiatives along the Danube, connecting the educational initiatives from one side with the tourism development on the other.
Thank you. But this brings me to the point where I would like to mention that we made several attempts to get the grant to establish the network of Danube sustainable tourism observatories or laboratories, whatever, which will be placed along the entire length of the Danube, different spots, where we could track record and follow up the flow of the tourists and visitors, but not only in the sense of statistical track record, but a wider frame of information, such as the level of satisfaction, tourism profile, or tourist profile, the length of stay, what did they expect, didn't they find, what did they find unexpected, was it positive, negative, what would they like to see, and so on. So these kind of information, which will enable us to cut through the future development of tourism, sustainable tourism on the Danube. Unfortunately, either people didn't understand or they didn't want to understand because it presumes cooperation in sharing this kind of information. And maybe I will say something which is a blasphemy. It is, I think that there is still this kind of selfishness and egocentrism of different countries where they just treasure the information for themselves. But Danube doesn't belong to one country. It belongs to all these countries. And that's why we should try to establish this kind of network and really share the information, because if we don't enable people to travel all the way from the Black Forest to the Black Sea, then the bottom line of this timeless river is lost. So, what tourism products do you think we can develop which will jointly enforce or enhance our work together and joint promotion? Almut, do you think in these terms? What do you think? Could you please tell us?
Yeah, maybe I can present to you a little bit more our Danube Guides initiative or Danube Guides approach, because it's yeah, very connected to this. And we also institutionalized this year our partnership we have since 2017 um, into the transnational network of Danube Guides, so the DGNet. So maybe I start in the beginning. The Danube Guides approach is let's say, the basis is a qualification program of nature culture guides. And we began this in the Interact project Lena 2017, when we first trained Danube Guides. And the goal is that this nature culture guides can independently create or develop innovative educational but also tourism products for different target groups. So that's the main idea. And after this project, we went on with the Danube guides, and it was in the beginning a train-the-trainer approach. So we had Danube guide trainers and Danube guides, and we went on to work with them and also with the partners into other projects financed by the State Ministry of Baden-Württemberg. And we developed trainings for the guides, workshops, where they could exchange transnationally and also regionally. We had webinars and so on. So it's a very interesting approach. Now we have in 7 countries we have the Danube guides, and they work together regionally, but also transnationally. And the guides develop different offers for different target groups. So this is also one of the special things of this approach, that they can have the focus also for people with special needs, for example, or for cycle tourists or elderly people. So it's really can be different. And but the important thing is the inclusive and accessible approach behind that. And Danube Guides also develop or should develop offers which can be used year round, so not only in summer or winter, but also yeah, a holistic approach year round. And
No
yeah, that's
seasons.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And they also have the ability or learn how to communicate this to visitors with modern communication skills, for example, gamification. So in a very appealing way, uh, that the Danube guides offer should be an experience for the visitor or for the inhabitant in this region, that they take a feeling from this tour, for example. So it should not only be a guided tour, but an experience. So that's the goal of the Danube guides, to to convey this to the people. So to show the natural and cultural heritage in an appealing, modern way to the guide. So that's what we want with this approach. But it's not only this qualification program, but it's this whole network which developed side by side, let's say, from the beginning, because we work together with the partners over many years now. And this year we decided to institutionalize in this DG net. So we developed this charter for this, and yeah, we want to go on with this network, with the guides, work together, have activities. And yeah, who's interested, who want to support this, can join as a network partner in this network. And yeah, we will go on with this approach and develop trainings, workshops for the guides, and work together transnationally. And of course, our vision is to have all Danube countries uh, one day in this approach. So we wish to have Danube guides in all Danube countries, of course. And maybe interesting, Georgi also is a Danube guide of this approach, and also one of our project partners. Um, yeah.
Thank you very much. It is very interesting and definitely appealing, and we should really try to spread the word at a larger scale so that people can join and maybe invent something else. So, Georgi, what do you have to say about all of this?
I'm really happy and proud to be part of this amazing network. So I have also a story with this regard. We were already working on the Danube in various projects and in the field of tourism, namely sustainable development of tourism. And one colleague of Almut just approached me on one conference, and where I was a speaker, and she told me about the Danube Guides initiative and the upcoming project, and invited us to join. So it came in a very interesting moment, because I thought, oh, the tourism, the common tourism in the Danube region is underdeveloped, at least in the lower Danube. We face destinations with huge potential, but still very underdeveloped because of various factors, not only infrastructure, demography, economic development, and so on. So I really saw the need to develop a common tourism product, and namely based on the uh, guidance and support, local support by communities and by local guides. And I was thinking about analog of Bulgarian guide. Why not to have the Danube guide? But then came this proposal, and I thought to myself, why Danube Guide? Danube Guide is one single book, or like a tool for development of the tourism. But Danube Guides, this is already a community. These are already people who work together, who collaborate, who can show and act and react together with the tourists. So I was really impressed by the idea, and very delighted to be part of this project. Then I enrolled in this program. Honestly, it wasn't easy. The training was challenging and somehow demanding, but still, after making this training, I felt my knowledge, not only on the Danube, but on the development of tourism products as a whole, elevated. in various aspects. And I would only recommend to potential participants to join this network because I see the value of this network, being part of this network, not only from learning new new skills, knowledge, and so on, but also having the opportunity to work with other colleagues, with other Danube guides along the Danube River, and last but not least, also to brand your product and your tourism service as part of the Danube Guide network.
Okay, you've given me a hint. This is Danube brand. Unfortunately, in the course of all these years, we were all talking and still talk about the Danube brand. So, Danko, do you think that joint tourism product will eventually lead us to Danube brand? Do you have any idea what products we could create as new appealing ones? A few days ago, we were talking about these new products that we could work on creation, but share us your thoughts.
I have many thoughts.
I know.
Not only on your question, but on different things that have been said. So I will start with what Almut and Georgi are talking, just with adding one small reference, because a good guide could really elevate your experience, and not that good guide can ruin it. So having a people that are kind of working in a network, trying to coordinate and improve their storytelling, I think it's quite important. But I also think it's not about storytelling, but it's really about visitors management. How you visit, how you manage your group, how you work with the group. That the group really kind of immerse, if this is a good word, into the traveling experience. I will stop there. I do think this is a good initiative, and I really looking forward for more of this. But let me say something also about what you said earlier about the Danube observatories, because you know that we are working on that, and that we have some pilot destinations that are kind of that we are trying to put together in gaining some more information about what are people experiencing traveling, at least along the Roman Emperors and Danube wine route. And where I would not necessarily agree with you, I'm not thinking it's necessarily a question of not sharing information. I would say it's a bit more about the type of how the information are collected at the national level. And this is where we go back at the border issue, because every country collects information in a certain way within a certain boundaries, and distribute this information within. And the Danube in every country is not recognized as a source of information, so to speak. So this is where we are trying to work on creating a network of, let's say, hotspots where people are able to share their thoughts, perspectives, negative impressions, and that's what we are all trying to build into one database from which we are trying to collect the information and then share, not only with our partners but with the whole Danube communities. And this is where we go back to what Almut is mentioning earlier, and this is a Danube Festival in Ulm, which is I've been there several times, and from my own personal experience, I can share it's a great event, because it does really tells the story about the Danube, and it does show this diversity in a cooperative fashion, if this is the right way to put it. And this is something where I think we need to work more, because it's not necessarily, in my mind, about new products. More it's about new interpretation of some existing product, because I think festivals are a great way to explore the Danube, and we are working on the festivals, and I've traveled this summer. I've been to I think 7 or 8 Roman and wine festivals, and where we are trying to make a difference is where we are trying to make these festivals more like a network, where people are kind of joining forces and sharing things. For example, the Roman festivals that we are working on are bringing different Roman reenactment groups from different countries, from Bulgaria, where it's quite developed, from Romania, where it's quite developed, from Croatia, where it's quite developed, from Slovenia, from Serbia, from other Danube countries, where typically you need to see them, you need to travel along the Danube and see each group individually. But what you will see there is pretty much the same thing. And that's something which is a danger of Danube tourism. This kind of cliche that you are traveling the Danube and seeing all the time all the same things. Traveling along the Danube and eating all the time all the same food. Because if there is no cooperation, if there is no coordination, if there is no this kind of more engaged collaborative development, you might end up eating fish soup for 10 days traveling along the Danube. I mean, you might like the fish soup, and I do like it, and I had it yesterday. But eating every day fish soup, I mean, it's boring. Seeing all the reenactment groups that do the same thing all the time, it's a boring thing. So this is, I think, where we can add value by, for example, joining all the Roman heritage reenactment groups together, immerse into the life of the Roman times, because there is this idea about the Roman limes, and of course I appreciate this idea. But to me, this idea is kind of exclusive, because the limes is a military thing. So if you follow the idea of a military thing, you end up as a kind of, how to say it, you don't get everything what actually was there. But if you try to immerse into the life of these communities, which were not only military, the wine came through in the Danube region, in most of the countries of the Danube countries. The wine came with a Christianity came with the military. Different cultural events, different social ideas came through this. So if we all bring this together, we might end up with something more refreshing. And then those networks of different festivals, the wine festival, for example, the Vinalia concept that we are developing. It's not only about the wine grapes, about the local wines. It's actually bringing different Danube varieties along the Danube into one place, and offering to the travelers to enjoy it, but also to compare it, but not to compare it in terms of what's better, but actually to taste the wine, the taste the Danube, what Danube gives to the Danube wines, which is something that you can find only along the Danube, because the terrain, the sun, the autochthone varieties, the traditional way of doing things, that all gives the flavor to those wines. So basically, what in my mind is something where we can more work together, is not about trying to be very innovative or trying to bring something that does not exist anywhere. This is really hard in these times. But to try to give the new interpretation of the things that exist through festivals, through guiding, through different marketing or let's say promotional activities, through developing a new ways of learning. Because for me, tourism is not only about how you say experience. Of course, it's experience, but it has to be entertaining. It has to be,
Good time.
you have to learn something new. This is how you create the value of a travel, not by just passing through, eating in, drinking in, hiking on. It's more about kind of trying to immerse into these local communities, which have their own kind of path that bring them where they are today. And a part of this path, or a part of this flavor, is Danube. And this is what we all share. Because if you would bring a person who is outside of, let's say, our regional or, let's say, European perspective, they don't see these differences that we see among ourselves. Because when you travel, for example, from Germany to Romania along the Danube, you do we as locals, we see differences, because but for the outsiders are not necessarily seeing those differences. So maybe we should try to bring together different aspects of that, coordinate them better, and offer them, as I said, as a entertaining, as a learning, and as a life experience. And maybe that would give a new flavor to the Danube tourism, overpassing the all the issues that borders are creating, that language barriers are creating, and that, of course, traveling opportunities, or lack of them, are creating.
Thank you, Danko. Okay, now we have elaborated on tourism product, but I still think that we should, in line with everything what you all said, try to develop something new, such as, for instance, in my former life, I was organizing conferences. And I remember that there was a conference called Danube Neurology Congress, which was very well attended and welcomed as something new, something interesting. Then we could have, for instance, Danube cinematography. Then we could have Danube writers. Then we could have, okay, there is this culture route,
Women writers.
women writers, but we should maybe have Danube writers. Maybe we should have Danube young music festivals, classical music, or modern music, whatever. This is something where we can think about and maybe work together. But speaking of promotion, of joint promotion, do you think, okay, Danube could be the bait for overseas tourists and visitors, but do you think that Danube could be attractive from tourists and visitors from other European countries which are not on the Danube? Do you think that maybe Spanish or Portuguese or Danish, or not to mention all European countries, do you think that they know about the Danube and about our natural and cultural heritage? I don't think so. So, what do you think? How can we promote this? Georgi, could you please share your thoughts?
Sure. First of all, please let me to disagree a bit with Danko, because he said that the fish soup might be boring, eating one and the same fish soup along the Danube. Excuse me. But I tried uh, a lot of different types of fish soup. So I would say that even only in Bulgaria, in each city and in each village, they have a different recipe of the fish soup. So it is not one and the same. The same is with the traditions. Maybe you would be surprised, but we have common songs with Serbia, with Romania, maybe as well. But these songs are different from each other, and they have different background. So I think that the Danube is unified in its variety. So even one the same thing is not one the same thing everywhere. You cannot enter uh, in the same river twice, as a Chinese philosopher said. So the Danube is also uh, floating, changing, developing, and I think we should follow this flow, and also we have to change ourselves. Yes, we can use the traditions, the culture, the history, the monuments, the ruins, but we can interpret them in another way, in in a way which is attractive, not only for the people who are living along the Danube, but also, and here is the bridge to your question, to outsiders. I mean, people or tourists who are living in other countries not closely related to Danube. And yes, I think there is a huge potential. One of the signs, for example, are the river cruises, which, as I know, are accommodating not only people from Germany or Austria traveling to the Danube Delta, but also another tourists from across the world. Even I met a large group of Americans and people from Canada at Baba Vida Fortress. This is the Paris, the mostly preserved fortress in Bulgaria, in the city of Vidin, where we had uh, Living Danube Limes festival with reenactors. And we were expecting the Novina Lacris ship, which was built in Germany. So I talked with these people, what they find about the Danube, what is their attraction, and they were really impressed by the whole experience. And visiting various cities and villages along the Danube, because for the North Americans and also other people around the world, this is something different. They the history we have in Europe, and especially along the Danube, and the traditions and the natural heritage, this is something which is unique and can be valorized. Um, and the Romans have had barely any touch with North America, so these people were really
They didn't.
interested in our in the performance, in the experience, and they could immerse in this atmosphere, which was very authentic, very real, and also very attractive.
Thank you. Almut, your contribution, what would you say about all of these comments here?
Yeah, I would agree with what Georgi said. Um, like we have, or what we do with the International Danube Festival is also a showcase for the international Danube partnership and the variety along the Danube. and the focus is on unity and diversity, and we want to show like what what is the special thing, the special spirit along the Danube to all visitors, also from other countries, so not from the Danube region, with this different program or with this variety in the program. We have around 170 individual events in this festival, and last time we had around 400,000 visitors. And I think there's also a development from one festival to another, so that new institutions, new cooperation um, can be integrated. So there's new aspects every year. You can present yourself also in a theme tent, for example, on the market, present your project or institution. So there is a development each year. It's getting new. And regarding I'm not a marketing expert, but of course this should get known, so you have to advertise and do the marketing stuff. And I think maybe is a need for like a storytelling or narrative, so that makes it easier. But we tried within our Danube Guides approach with the logo and the brand. Yeah, we tried at least to get this approach known. But yeah, I think it's a long way. Takes time and a lot of work, and then yeah, maybe people from other countries also get involved or are interested in this project, this region.
Hopefully. You've been such great guests. We can sit and talk who knows how long. But for the end, I would like to ask you to do two things quickly: share the memory and deliver the message. So, Almut, back to you again.
Okay, I can share one memory. We visited Ruse within our project Danube Guides, and we went to the fisherman's quarter in Tutrakan, and we had a group of elderly women who showed us the traditional dances, and we could participate. So this was really great. And afterwards, we had self-made pumpkin strudel from the
Oh,
region. So it was a great experience, and we could also get active and participate in these dances. And when I look back, when I remember this, it's this experience I take with me. And yeah, that's great. And also the way or the traveling I did. Danko mentioned this with his trip. I also went back to Ulm by train. So we had a train journey through the different countries, and this is really a great experience, because you not only get into the plane and you go out the plane in another place, but you get the whole experience on this travel. So yeah, I want to share the spirit for the Danube. Come, visit, meet our Danube guides, and join our festivals. It's really great. So that's from my side.
thank you. Georgi, memory message.
Uh, I have a whole necklace with memories from different parts of the Danube, collected like pearls, Danube pearls. So I would say that the Danube is different everywhere. So we have one Danube in Ulm, we have another in Vienna, another one in Belgrade, another one in Vidin, Ruse, Silistra, and so on, and the Delta. So for me, Danube is one river. It unifies all of us, different cultures, different languages, and different nations. But still, we are strong and unified in this variety. And I think this would be the message I want to share with with the public, with the audience, that
Everybody.
Danube provides different experience, different emotion, and different feeling to everybody, and it's very personal. So it's not one and the same. It's very personal and very touchy.
And to that end, I can say that, for example, I will encourage people to visit our YouTube channel Romance Wine Danube, with almost 1 million views on it, which again suggests that we are kind of trying to deal and work with the promotion. But what I'm trying to say is that promotion is not only about collecting and sharing. It's equally important for us to learn, to understand what are the people's expectations, what are their perspectives, how we can share our message to be more appealing to what they know with the knowledge they come to our destination. And in that sense, one of the experience that for many reasons is unforgettable for me is driving bike. As you know, Danube has 3 channels. 2 of them are in Romania and 1 in Ukraine, in Danube Delta. So driving from one channel to another along the shores of the Black Sea was a memorable experience by many. It was exhausting, it was breathtaking, and it was really kind of
Different.
Good
Yes.
point. Thank you, Gordana.
And that brought me really to the end of this with something that we missed to mention. This is this lower Danube, Danube Delta and Odessa in Ukraine. And this is the part which is indeed unique and not so easy to see anything similar. Unfortunately, this moment does not let us go all the way to Odessa. And that's why I think that we should end this episode with the message that keeping peace is something what we should think about and try to do our best to fulfill this goal. Do you agree with me?
Fully.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing this with us today. And we will try to bring you more interesting topics to discuss and talk about the Danube. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.